YouTube, good morning. Welcome back to the show. Something has dawned on me recently when it comes to this channel. I seem to have a lot of Manchester United fans coming on as guests. Nothing wrong with that. Manchester United fans have a lot to say about their club, and Manchester United is a great club to talk about. In this video, we're doing something a little bit different. We're doing a tier list, which isn't really different. I'm sure you've all seen a lot of these type of videos, but my guest today is a bit of a different Manchester United fan. He rates some of the more popular players as pretty shit, and he rates some of the worst players as really good. And it's kind of confusing, really, but it's entertaining nonetheless. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this video, and please like, share, subscribe, and all those good things. And yeah, enjoy the video. Okay, so I want us to go through the list together of all these Manchester United players, and I want you to rate
Yeah.
them for me in this tier list thing here. I think it'll be something fun for you to do. I don't think you've ever done anything like this with your current squad. And it's something a little bit different, I think, for you to do as a United fan. I don't know if you've ever actually been like, okay, these players are world class, these dog shit, or I haven't. I can call them how I've just called it world class, good player, future star, loan out, sell, and then yeah, let's
Yeah.
see what you've got at the end of that. You keen?
Okay. Fine. Let's start.
Cool. I don't have names on these players, so I just hope that I'll get the face right. So the first one is Eric Bailly.
Eric Bailly. I like him, but I would put him in that he's too young to be a future star, but sometimes he has a
Too old
phenomenal
to be a
game.
future star.
Sorry, that's what I meant, yes. He has like an amazing game, he has a really good run, and then other times you just think, are you here to make up the numbers? Did you miss the last few training sessions? I'm quite sure you're aware of what your job is here. So I think given my attitude towards United's defence is a little bit poor at the moment, and I think that's unfair on them because of a lack of defensive midfielder. Shocker, we're talking about United. We mentioned that, so I'm going to put him in like lukewarm. He's all right, but if he
Good
goes
player.
out on
Good player. I agree. I rate Eric Bailly. You know what? I'm gonna let you pick your ranking for them, and then I'll give you what I would have done for
okay,
it, basically. But I agreed
okay,
with Eric Bailly as a good player. Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
world class.
I completely agree.
Best.
It is a shock to me that Gareth Southgate doesn't pick this guy for England. It's shocking to me.
I mean, he was number one most tackles in a season. Granted, he's very specialist in that he literally
Yeah,
just wants to run at the ball
very
and
true.
tackle the guy. Fantastic, but build a system around him, make sure that other defenders can cover when he's going in for the tackle. But best tackler in the world. Or
Best
at least
tackler in the
one of.
league. And
Yeah.
I think people give him a bit of a bit of a bad rap, to be honest. They claim he's just the solid right back, can't go forward. I've watched him and I've seen him go forward and I've seen him put in crosses and I've seen him. I think if you had to look at his assists against, okay, don't look at his assists against like Trent Alexander-Arnold's, because then
Yes.
it'll just be way too much in favor of Alexander-Arnold. But if you look at his assists against other right backs who are making it into the England squad, look at his number of assists or his number of chances created, key passes, etc., against like a Dan James or against Kyle Walker or against Kieran Trippier. I don't know if he's that far off, to be honest. But I could be wrong.
Even
I'm saying this
if he
by
does,
not having looked at it, though.
yeah. I enjoy the fact that people don't like him. I feel like that's a good conversation, and there's just one stat that you can pull up. That is, let's look over the last 3 years, how many
Yeah,
tackles he makes, and the guy is just the world's best tackler. If he doesn't do anything else but just tackles and gets you the ball, and then passes it to the nearest player, and it's not an exceptional pass, he's doing his job and he's doing it
exactly.
well.
Also,
I'm
I
all
wonder
for him.
if there's any statistician who works for the England team that has looked at the number of goals they've conceded down the right, down the left, through the middle, and maybe they've probably conceded the most goals down the right because they've always picked a Trent Alexander-Arnold, a Kyle Walker who loves to bomb forward. Whereas maybe you need the option of someone to solidify your right-hand side. But anyway, let's move on.
So
Bruno
Alves,
Fernandes.
world class. The man changed the entire squad. He changed the team.
Can't deny
Without
it.
him, they were nowhere.
Can't deny
He's
it, yeah.
excellent. He's so good that you discuss playing him over Ronaldo. You definitely played over Pogba. He's just incredible in that he's made the team his own. Good for him.
I have not seen I've not seen a player like that come into a top 4 team and change it.
Yes, lower teams, yes.
That effectively. Yeah, lower teams, whatever. But I'm saying a top 4 team pushing for Champions League in the league. I've never seen a player come in and change that team around the way he did when he came in January, 2 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Probably the last player that I saw who had that kind of effect was right. Let's move on.
I was going to say
I had one, and I can't. Maybe Mo Salah. Maybe Mo Salah when he joined Liverpool. But
what about Van
other
Dijk?
than that, I don't know.
I would say
Van Dijk. Yeah. Van Dijk. Yeah.
Van Dijk is the screaming example of the guy who just took second place and made them first place, but comfortably first.
That's true. No, that's true.
But
Van Dijk did that over a season. This guy came in the January window and did it like immediately. Edison Cavani.
I'm such a huge fan, and I'm actually a bit disappointed that he's not going to be the star man at the front. I like Ronaldo obviously, but I think there's a problem there because Cavani is an aging world-class player. His criticisms against him are he's getting older and he's getting a little bit frail, and he had a whole lot of injuries and that thing. But
he's not aging the way Ronaldo is aging. But I don't think anyone on earth ages the way Ronaldo ages.
There's only one other man, and that's Raphael Nadal. It's the only other guy who's doing the same.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, well,
Michael Phelps.
Way less physical.
For sure.
Brady, that is. Yeah. Anyway, yes.
So where's he going?
I put him as world class, but with the little asterisk that is, he's probably not going to be world class for too long. If he gets injured, he might not come back. He's at the moment. So the last season, United owe him a great deal, and he signed for them another year. So
100%. No, he was incredible for them, but since Ronaldo joined, I would do that.
Other way around. I'd put him at the top, and I'd be having hard conversations about Ronaldo being having literally a 2-team United is what I would literally say. I would have the Cavani, Sancho pairing with obviously the rest of the players in that attacking lineup are really good and they're still going to contribute. But then I'd have the Ronaldo game changer. I'd make him a super sub specialist next game.
Ronaldo doesn't join a club to sit on the bench, Mark.
True, but then he needs
also his contract doesn't allow him to sit on the bench. I don't think
that's a problem because if you're playing against United and you don't know, in the training, for the week before, who are we facing? Are we facing the Ronaldo kind of team, or are we facing the Sancho Cavani team? And they're playing completely differently. It's going to make life hard.
Gives the manager an option.
Yeah, I don't think they should get rid of him because he's too useful. Even if he does sit on the bench, when he comes on, he will change the game, and he will, go and score, and he'll do it in a very different way to Ronaldo.
And Diego Dallo,
fine. He's not someone you think about too often.
Is he still a future star? Is he still young enough to be a future star?
I don't think so. I think I'd put him in the loan out category purely because go find yourself, find your feet, and come back.
He needs to play.
At the moment, he's a name who occasionally gets into the squad.
David De Gea.
Oh, goodness. I feel so sorry for Dean Henderson because at the moment, he's back to world class.
He's great, yeah.
He was terrible for at least a full season. And then Henderson stepped up and he was amazing. And then David De Gea said, oh, wait, I might lose my position here. Hang on a minute. I'll go back and remember world class.
That's why you have competition in the squad. You want that to happen,
I just feel sorry for Henderson that he peaked and he did he did step up a lot. And his position was, give me the number one, put me in between the sticks, and I'll continue my upward trajectory. And then they went, you probably would,
Like,
but we're going back with him.
But we have De Gea, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I personally would have ranked De Gea as more of a good player these days, but
On
when you
average
look
over
at
the last season, but right now world
yeah,
class over the season, only good. Yeah. So, yeah.
fair enough. Ahmed Diallo.
Who? Sorry, I'm not.
Let's just put him as a let's just learn him out. Let's just learn him out.
Cool.
Next, I believe, is Axel Tuanzebe.
Yeah, interesting. Gotta go. He's young, isn't he? Tell me he's young. Therefore, I could put him in.
Not as young as he used to be, but he currently is loaned out to West Ham. I mean, to Aston Villa. So I think that kind of picks his spot for him.
Yes, but like loaning players out has gone really well recently. Yeah, keep doing that. Get these guys playing.
Yeah, no, it has worked for quite a lot of these players. I think Axel Tuanzebe is the type of player who one day will be a really, really good player, but the time is running out for him to become a solid centre back at a club. And I don't know if it's going to be United. Fred.
No. Please get rid of Fred.
Sell
I don't want to
Fred.
be. Yeah, I don't want to be super angry, and I know a lot of people are very angry. He's very, very good on a good day, and he can be excellent, but consistency is just not his thing.
Fair
it
enough.
really isn't, and you need
Fair
someone
enough.
to actually play. And
Yeah.
because of him, there's this horrendous, awkward situation that's going on, and we'll get to it when another name gets pulled up on the list.
I think I know who you're going to talk about, a certain Dutchman. Lee Grant, fourth choice keeper at the moment. Used to be Stokes number one.
I like him. I really like the guy. I don't know. He reminds me of.
But do you need 4 goalkeepers?
No, you don't. You really don't. Absolutely not.
So then, what do you do with him?
You try and sell him because at this point you're so overloaded in the keeper department, and they've just bought. Didn't they buy Tom Heaton or someone?
Tom Heaton, he's coming up. Yeah. The thing is, you have four goalkeepers that could start in the Premier League, in my opinion.
Yeah. United have always had world class, thanks to Schmeichel in particular, and then Van der Sar. So they've had that precedent of they've got to be the best in the world.
There was a time when you had old Roy Carroll there. That wasn't. Just remember what you're saying before you say you always had a world class keeper.
Well, I think that the precedent is to have a world class keeper, and a few whoopsies have caused them to overcompensate. Yes, overcompensation is not good though.
Well, I look at City, top of the log or whatever, and they have Scott Carson as one of their goalkeepers. It's mad. Next up is Mason Greenwood.
I mean, is he world class or is he a rising star that's about on the cusp of world class? The man can score the best goals.
I still think. You know what? Actually, before I say, I'm gonna let you finish. Dog.
Okay, so those goals are so spectacular when he scores them, and they're driving, and they're powerful, and they're from the outside of the box, and they're phenomenal. I think because in my mind, he's like a package deal with Phil Foden, the two playing, so close together.
They also love to jaw together, and they love getting banned from the England squad too. So they definitely are a little bit of a package deal.
Yes, indeed, yeah, cheat on their girlfriends together. Very nice.
Oh yeah, no, like bros do, obviously.
Indeed, I think he's if he's not world class, he's got all the potential to be world class within a couple of years. And I really, really rate him. I rate him high.
But where is he now?
Well, he's in the United squad and he can't be dislodged, and that's a bit awkward given the players. Ronaldo's been brought in, and you kind of want someone to make room, and he's just not making room. So he's butting heads with really, really top talent. Got to give him. It's only his age, I think, that's pushing him, out of that world class spot. And there's a lot of places where he would be, as good as the best player in most clubs, kind of thing. So I'm an optimist, and I'd say put him on top. And I'm
World
pretty sure I'll be
class.
proven correct. Yeah, I think I'll be
Okay.
proven right over the next few years.
I would have kept him at good player, but you know what? It's your tier list. World class it is.
Fine.
Heaton. Tom Heaton.
Excellent, good player. Put him in good player. He's young. I think he's got. He could start. I've really the little that I have seen of him, I've been very impressed.
Dean Henderson.
Oh my goodness, the poor man.
Poor man.
Maybe
There's one person I
yeah.
feel is so hard done by in his career. It's that guy.
Oh, he's so good. He's so good, and he stepped up when they needed him to step up, and he stepped up
He sure
properly
did.
well.
And he had, and I mean, he was Sheffield United's player of the season when he went on loan there. I mean, without a shadow of a doubt.
I think he has to be loaned out. He has to go play. Let
Agreed.
him go play somewhere and be amazing.
Agreed. Coming number 4, Phil Jones.
So Phil Jones, I think, is the most
I love
entertaining.
him. I love him. When he refused to give up his shirt to Varane, I was like,
Yeah.
you know what, Phil Jones, you go, motherfucker. You don't give your shirt to anyone.
That man is. Everyone loves to hate him, and it's so unfair. Just because he's got a meme face and he got injured, and
Yeah,
unfortunately, his playing career was cut short by injury, and he has a contract.
There was a point when people were saying Phil Jones was going to be England captain over John Terry back in the day, but
he was
now,
good, and then. Well, he's just not recovered from the injuries. He's not the player he was. He put his body on the line for United, and he got broken playing for United. Therefore, he deserves to sit there and to collect his wages and to go through the rehab and to try and make his career. Because I don't think he'll ever reach the heights ever again. I think his time is done. So I don't hate him, and I don't like to to pick on him too much. Because he's hilarious whenever he hits the ball.
he might, what, with Maguire and Varane out, he might play this weekend.
If he does, I hope he plays really well and he can silence a few haters for a bit, just for his own sake. But if there was an opportunity that he wanted to take, and his contract will not be renewed. Let's put it that way. He's got to be in the sell pile.
For sure. I think it's almost just fair to him at this point.
Yeah.
Same with Dean Henderson. It's like fair to let these guys go and play while they still have time in their career. Yeah, exactly.
Like he had to be let go.
He had to go. But anyway, let's move on. Jesse Lingard.
Wow, what a season he had. Go put him on loan and he comes back. And he went from get rid of him. Now he's a good player.
Now he's back in the England squad. He's killing it, doing all his.
And what's his? Exactly. The man, good for him. I'm really pleased because I like him. But he's not world class. Especially not after completely forgetting how to play football for a while. I think he had a lot of mental stress and a lot of anguish. So I don't think it was a lack of talent causing his issues. But I think he's now a good player. And when you said in one of your earlier streams that he's coming back and United have a chance of winning this Premier League, and you mentioned his name and everyone laughed, I think it's not actually that funny.
Well, I mean, he has been scoring goals. He's playing for England. He's actually doing really well.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think he
scored the winner against West Ham. So yeah,
the man is optimistic and he's full of enthusiasm. He's a guy you want around.
100%.
Yeah.
I think this player is Andreas Pereira, but then I think someone else along the line is also Andreas Pereira, so I don't know. Let's go with it being Andreas Pereira.
Whenever he ever gets to put on the shirt and play the game, it's very limited, really.
He's never really been what people thought he would, I think.
No, I think he's
a few years ago. You would have put him in future star, but now I think it's just time to sell.
Yeah,
Harry Maguire.
Hey, I don't like him. I really don't like him.
Okay,
I really don't. He shouldn't be the captain, and he was captain for ages, and he's he's just not. No, sell him. Absolutely sell him. Your need for defensive players who are good does not. It shouldn't outshine the fact that he's just not. Um, I, I I hear the
So wait,
arguments for
hold on.
why people like him.
You have told me to put Maguire in the sell pile.
You want to
That's
make hard
bold, man.
decisions. I'm not saying it's an easy decision, but I'm saying
Yeah,
hard decisions.
for sure.
Sell him. Sell him. I think he did a really good job of stabilizing a very chaotic defense, which was just letting in more goals, and it was a bit of a disaster. And you had, wingers playing as defenders, and it was just not good. But I just don't think he has the temperament to be a defender. Central defense. You need to be. You can't be kicking people in the head. You can't be getting red carded. You can't do that. It's not okay to be playing for United and to play that role. I mean, he's kind of got like I think he's trying to be a hard man. United have always enjoyed a hard man in the back, but he just gets it wrong way too often. I thought he was way overpriced when he came out of Leicester.
Well, it's like it's the point that you made earlier. It's because you were buying.
Yeah. At the time I thought, okay, fine, we need a defender. Well, they bought this guy, and he clearly had a good season, and he was part of a very, very solid.
He won the Premier
defense.
League,
yeah, and that defense was incredible. But I think that defense was a really good unit, and I think they were made to get the best out of the players, kind of thing. And I don't think he's got a long term. I don't think he should have a long term spot in the squad. I think there's some overhauling in defense, and I don't think he's.
You don't think he'll make it?
I don't think he should.
So that's very interesting.
I can't tolerate these red cards, and in key moments when the captain, who's also a defender and supposed to be, the smartest man on the field and still the steadying man on the field is doing what he's doing, and then when he does play, he's not actually that good. He's just the guy who heads the ball, mostly over the opposition's crossbar. Well.
Okay, interesting. I didn't know you had such strong opinions of Harry Maguire, but I'm glad you've shared them. That's awesome. I might just create a video on this by itself.
I needed to vent.
Good. I knew you had something to get off your chest. Anthony Martial.
He's Altoni's incredible when he's firing, and he certainly had some really good spells.
When he has gone through those good spells, like you say, he has been truly amazing. But the consistency has never been there for me.
No, and we're rating players on their ability, but in the context of United, you don't need him anymore because Rashford's coming back from injury, and you've got Cavani, and now you've got Ronaldo, and I think he needs to go.
So sell him or loan him out, maybe, because Cavani's going to retire.
Yeah, maybe you loan him out. At this point, you take either a sell or a loan kind of deal. I do like him. I rate him when he plays well. He's incredible.
So do I. I think you're right. He just needs to play. It's like what happened with Lukaku over all those seasons when he was a Chelsea player. He just needs to go and play at a high level and not have all the pressure on him.
I'm still not happy with that, man. I think United made the right decision getting rid of him.
Really?
For as much as I like him and his personal story, he's a real good feel-good story. He rocked up in the mid-season apparently completely overweight, super unfit, after the off-season, and he was just, not what United needed when they needed him, and they needed him to be firing on all cylinders, and he wasn't that. So,
I remember seeing a photo of him when he was 13 years old, and he was like the size of the referee in the game. He's just always been big, that guy.
Yes.
Juan Mata.
My absolute favorite world-class bench bringer honor for league games. Not league games, for cup games, for you need something different, and you go, okay, every single one of these guys is drawing a blank. Juan, why don't you give it a go? Go be a dead ball specialist. I like him as a world-class, very, very niche, very specific guy. Overall, sure. I mean, fine. But I really, really rate him for the fact that he sits on the bench week in, week out, and when he does get a chance to play, he tries things. He does not
He
play
does.
conservatively. He does stuff.
I feel like
He's
he's at a point
entertaining.
in his career. He's at a point in his career where he's like, "Well, fuck, I might as well. I've won the
Yeah,
Champions League. I've won the league. I've won a World Cup. You know, let me just go and
yeah,
enjoy my last few years in football,
yeah.
playing at a top team.
Can.
Lord knows he'll be playing in Japan or whatever in the next couple of seasons. So you
Yes,
know, he's just like a feel good luxury player. That's just like, go on, Juan, just
yes.
do what you want to do.
If he's happy to stay at the club, on the back end, and he's happy to train and to only know that he's only ever going to start in, those odd, cups here and there, and he's going to get brought on, maybe a few times in the Premier League kind of deal, then great, he's a good player because of that. But if he's unhappy, then I'd get rid of him. But if he's happy
Yeah,
to stay
no,
there,
we
then
can't. He has such a nice smile for him not to have it on all the time. You know what I mean? But what do you do with him now? What is he, a world class player for you?
no, I think he's so specialized. I just put him as a good come off the
Good
bench
player.
and do something useful. But specifically because
I
he's
agree with that.
that's
I think he
sunshine.
deserves, for his career, for what he's achieved in the game, for all the shit he went under Mourinho. He deserves to be a good player.
Oh, I mean, he went through all the stuff with Mourinho, and then he moved to United. And Mourinho moved to United straight after him. You're like, oh, come on,
It's like,
come
oh,
on,
come
man.
on, not this guy again. McTominay, Scott McTominay.
I really, really like him, and he's another one of those. Someone needs to step up and actually take it seriously, play football at a high level, and he did it. I think that he needs
Can I? Can
someone
I?
else playing with him.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know the Fred McTominay thing.
No,
I would. This is gonna sound weird, but I mean, is he not still a future star?
he's young. How old is he? How old is he?
Still 21, 22, something like that.
If he's that young, then yes.
Oh, I
But
just
boy,
figured
can he
out who
step
that
up?
other player is. But yeah, go on.
Fine, you can put him in future star just to put someone in that space
Put
because
someone
that's a
there.
big criticism.
I
That's a big
still think
criticism I
you know
have.
what the thing is when you just look at those two words, future star. I think he is a star in the future. I think when becomes, I think he'll be United captain one day. I think he'll be lifting the Premier League for United one day. I think he's got 10 to 20 years probably of football in him because of the position he plays. He's like the Fletcher, the Carrick, that type of role of player, but he's not that right now. When he becomes that finished article, he will be world class, in my opinion. He'll be as world class as Carrick was in his prime.
I have mixed feelings about that. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'd say the biggest thing United need is a Carrick replacement, and I don't think he's it. But I do really like him. He's capable of so much, and if he was playing in a better system with a better one, maybe two other players around him, they were actually, sorting out a little bit more of a covering and a screening type role to let him get forward, then he'd be, look at him shine. But he's trying to do things he's not
Too much.
necessarily built for. He's not a defensive midfielder, hence he's trying to play as a defensive midfielder. When you've got Fred playing and you desperately need someone to cover constantly, and it has to be him, he's a going forward kind of pacey kind
I
of guy. And you've got
suppose he's
Jaden
wasted. His true ability is wasted.
with
But that
Cavani, Jaden Sancho, and himself. Now you've got someone who can actually, with some sort of a plan and a game plan in mind, not just raw talent of that squad, actually progress the ball forward from defense into attack and actually score. And that would get the best out of Sancho, and that would suit Cavani. So that's why I like Cavani, Sancho, and I kind of like McTominay in that trio. So I like him.
Okay, well, speaking of players to partner him, I figured out who this guy is. It's
Yeah.
Matic.
Matic. He is former world class, absolutely. He was the best.
He was
It was
when he was
excellent.
at Chelsea. Can't deny it.
Yeah. He is the guy who is initiating that transitional play, and he's changing things up. but he does move. I heard the phrase that he moves like an oil tanker.
So what do you do with him now?
Well, you have to keep him until you can replace him 100%. You need him because he's some real quality and some class that is needed. It's just that he's too slow. He's very capable of controlling tempo. The problem is that he controls the tempo and slows it down too much.
Yes,
and
he's the best at controlling
fast.
the tempo, as long as the tempo is to his liking.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you keep him in the squad and you keep him as a starting player basically because you need him. But not what United need really.
Taith Chong.
He's that super exciting. Didn't they sell him?
No, he's still a United player. I think he's probably a future star. If I had to,
yeah,
I think
sold him. I was upset.
No, I think Chong is still a United player. I stand to be corrected. But would you look to loan him out at this stage, or would you keep him as a future star?
Definitely loan him out. Loan him out because put him in. If you can loan him out to a non-English league, I think that'd be ideal. Somewhere where you can have a bit of a mix of
Germany. It seems like the English youngsters love going to Germany. The next one is Paul Pogba.
Oof. So tell me about that money you guys have got. You got lots thereof.
I'll take him. If he's out of contract in the season, I'll take him.
If he doesn't, I'm holding my breath. If he doesn't sign another contract, then he goes down as the worst player United ever wasted money on.
Wow,
given just the volume of money.
Fine margins there.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. They've wasted a lot of money. No, that's a rich competition, that one. Now, I would say he's been so lukewarm with so much promise, and then he goes off and he does something amazing with France, and he's so good. And then you think, okay, he is world class. Of course he is. He's going to come and he's going to make the difference. And then he can't be bothered, or his agent is playing some game and suddenly he's injured. My left toe, I can't play. And whatever the story is, but he is just, he was in the team and he was a starting man and he was number one. And then Fernandes comes along and suddenly United start playing well and start enjoying well. And you think, well, where was Pogba during all of this? When he sits back and he starts spraying the ball and he's having a good day, magic happens.
World class.
And he does that for France, and it's incredible. He can just do things, and you think, wow, that was cool. But other days, you just think, do you not want to win? Why are you just doing?
But
fancy
other days,
to pass the ball.
But other days, if he's not world class, is he just a good player on other days, or are there times when you look at him and you think, I'm going to sell this guy?
There's times where he is. I think he's a hot and cold. There's no middle ground with him. He's either the best player on the pitch or he's the worst player on the pitch. He's had games where you just think you're costing the team so badly. Like, just don't pass that guy the ball. Why is he not being subbed off? He has that kind of a shocker, kind of howler game. And, even if it's only for a period of the game, it's an important, big chunk of the game. And I think that he could at any point, you put him in rising future star. He could be next season's player of the year, or he could be terrible. I just never know with him, and I don't like that. I really do value consistency highly, and he just isn't.
I just feel like he's too old to put in future star. Unless your definition of future star is short term, he will be the best thing next season. Okay, then fine. I'm happy to leave him.
It could be next season. Yeah, I don't know. I struggle with him, and I go backwards and forwards on him. You watch him play amazingly, and you go, if you can just settle into a nice, comfortable run and stop. I don't want to hear news stories about you and your agent having a discussion, about how to, whatever it is he does.
Marcus Rashford next.
World class. Everyone wants him, and I think he's so supremely talented and good at what he does, and he's feel good. He's from the academy.
I mean, what he's done, the things that he's done off the pitch, make him a world class human. I personally just think he's a good player. I've never looked at Marcus Rashford and thought this guy is world class, not yet. But
I think,
if there was one between the two, I'd probably put him there. But I'll leave him there for
He's a
now.
youth academy. He came from the academy, and he's a local boy. And his mom used to drive him to training and drop him off kind of thing.
Sweet.
You gotta like him. There was a one game difference where he got his license. Prior to that, his mom dropped him off in a Ford Focus, and the next day dropped him in a Bentley.
Rocked his Bentley.
A
You probably
matte
bought
black
it when you were
Bentley.
16. Probably bought it when you were 16 and just left it there. He was like, one day. We're almost done. There's only a handful of players left, and it's big boys now. And the biggest boy is now Ronnie himself, CR7.
Okay, let's try to beat this quick. Make it nice and quick here. So obviously he's world class. He's incredible, but the only issue with him is it's called the Ronaldo effect. I think at this point, he costs teams goals. He sets teams back. He does strange things because you play his way, and I'm a little bit unsure because I thought that Cavani system and that whole pace thing that they were doing is so incredible and it was so exciting. If he can be used and he can occasionally sit on the sidelines and come in and they change things up, then I think he'd be incredible and United to win everything. He is world class. He's arguing if he's either the best.
I think it's hard not. It's hard not to just the name Ronaldo. It's hard to argue against it, really.
He's either the best player in the world or the second best player in the world.
Exactly
it's
at any given moment. So,
yeah, the only issue, of course, is the fact that they had to sign him because if he went to City, that would be incredibly evil. I think there's just to be riots.
There'd be riots, and also the worst thing, Alex Ferguson would disown him, and I think he probably didn't want that, which is why he came home. Which I mean, as a neutral fan, seeing Ronaldo playing again in a United shirt for me personally was incredible. And I was with you on his first game against Newcastle. He scored twice against me, and I think I celebrated his goals more than I celebrated my own goals. Coming back to being a football fan,
Yeah, he's 100% part of the long-term goal that was bringing in Solskjaer as the manager, and that is they lost their identity and they need to feel good about United. And in that case, he's world class. I mean, you couldn't think of anyone other than Solskjaer
there was no
himself,
one who could come into the club who would have that effect for sure.
Yeah, he's incredible. I'm just a little bit nervous that he's going to be a one-man band and everyone has to play around him.
Hey, speaking of players to play around Ronaldo, Jadon Sancho.
I think he is a world-class player. That's why they bought him and that's why they hunted him so aggressively. They need to change to suit him. He's not playing badly this season. When he is playing and he's got the ball, he's doing good things, but he is very specifically that high speed, get the ball. And, when he was playing with Holland was charging headfirst at a defender and everyone was jumping out of his way just for to save their own lives and running into that 6-yard box. And he was so quick and he was running into a defense that just didn't know what to do. He was finding gaps, forcing gaps, passing the ball, and it was incredible. United want that. Ollie wants that. And now I think they owe him. And I think that his lackluster start is their fault, not his.
I tend to agree with you. I think he's got all the talent in the world. He just needs to get the game time now. And
they need to change the system.
There is the risk with Jadon Sancho that he could be the world's most expensive flop. But I think he's just too young and too good to do that. But is he world class now, or do I put him in good player for you?
I'll put him in world class. They went after him. He was number one on the target list. They got to trust that there was. And I mean, Dortmund were playing so well, and it was so exciting to watch. And he was.
I would say that you're just a biased Man United fan putting him in world class, but then again, you put Harry Maguire in cell. So I don't know what you're going to do. Luke Shaw.
I think he's a good player. He steps up, he runs. I don't think he's lived up to that world-class potential. He was supposed to be the best left back that's ever been, but he isn't. And then he got injured, and then he came back, and he reinvented himself a little bit in the same role, but just in a slightly different style and a slightly different flavor. And he gets forward, and he gets a lot of game time, really close to the corner flag, of the opposition half, and does a really solid job. And I think he was a very key role in stabilizing United's defense when he came back and stepped up again. So good player.
The next player I want to show you is Shola Tire. Now, there's something interesting about this player that I don't know if you know. I just want to find it here. Shola Tire, I think, is related to Shola Amiobi and Tommy Amiobi and the Amiobi family. He was born in Newcastle. I'm just gonna. I need to find this here because this when I heard this the first time, I was like, I hope this guy comes back to Newcastle one day. But basically, he was born in Newcastle. I think he is in some way related to the Shola Amiobi family. He's related to there's a Nigerian population that lives in the northeast of England. And he's originally from there. But he didn't make it in Newcastle's youth setup. And now he's playing for Manchester United, and he's actually a decent youngster. So I would put him as a future star for sure.
Yeah, I like him. Just for
future
the hair.
star for you?
Yeah.
Not just because of his hair, but because of his footballing ability.
I watched the was it the under 18, the youth game. I watched a couple of those, and every single game I watched, he was playing, and he was playing amazingly. He was scoring hat tricks and doing weird cool stuff.
Now that you've said youth game, I remember who this other player is. It's Alanga, the young Swede that you have, the young striker.
I can't tell you that I know enough about him.
Well, while you are Googling who your own player is, the next one is Alex Telles.
This is one of those difficult to answer questions. You like, optimistically, you want to say he's a really good player, but he's not young, so you can't cop out and chuck him in the rising star category. I mean, I think he's late 20s. If United are playing if he's playing alongside Juan Mata at some point, and he's having a good game, that's all well and good. But as far as I know, he's injured at the moment. I think he has an ankle injury or something that.
The thing about him is he's your only other left back because you've loaned out Brandon Williams. So it's almost like So it's almost like you can sell him, but you have no other left back then.
Yeah,
so by that virtue, he kind of has to go into the good player category.
But
he's not.
He's not. He's not bad. He's not bad, but you're playing for United.
I should have. I need to add more tiers here.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Long term though, would you sell him?
Yeah.
Anthony Alanga.
Yeah, I mean, I can Google the guy, but
unfortunately, he was recently racially abused playing for Sweden, so that's not good. But I think he is. I think he is a good player. If I was a United fan, I'd look to loan him out at this point because he's been on the bench a few times for the first team. He's played in the cup games quite a few times. He's 19 now. I think he'd benefit from a loan to League One or the Championship, or to one of the teams, a team in the in Europe somewhere. That's what I would do.
Yeah, fine by me. I mean, I reckon
the last two. I'm gonna do the second last one because I know you're gonna have things to say about this poor man. Raphael Varane.
Yeah, you got to put him in the same logic that that they headhunted him, they went after him. They really, really, really wanted him, and he was an expensive, good signing kind of thing. You got to put him up there. Give the man time. His announcement to the United home fans was all met with rapturous applause, and it was like, oh, he's so exciting. We've got this great player. Oh, anyway, Ronaldo's here. It's
Oh,
like,
by the way, we're getting Ronaldo tomorrow.
and you're like,
Yeah, I kind of put a
cool.
bit
What were we
dampener.
talking about
Th-
yesterday?
This guy,
Yeah.
this guy got the worst deal. Like he was a free transfer basically. He didn't get the shirt number he wants because Phil Jones is like, no, mine. And then all the hype over him signing was quelled by Ronaldo signing virtually a week later.
Yes.
So, but take nothing
On
away from him. He is a world class player.
on the subject of his number, I think his number is 19, if memory
Yeah.
serves, and 19 being my birthday, so I like the number.
Yeah. The last person for us to rate on this list, Mark. And
Yeah.
thank you. This is the finale, I think, to this video as well. Thank you for your time and thank you for
My,
joining me here.
my
What do you
pleasure.
do with
Yeah.
poor what do you do with poor Danny van der Beek? Donny van der Beek.
Yeah. 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 Say sorry. Come.
Should I we should just change this to say sorry. Say sorry. And then we move everyone out into loan and then just put Donny there.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't understand it. They wanted someone to partner Fernandez. They wanted that kind of midfield strength, even though they had Pogba, even though they've got this midfield that's so loaded, and he's not a defensive midfielder. And then then they decide, oh, we desperately we'll get him instead of Sancho, and it's all okay. And then suddenly it's like, well, you got a queue behind Pogba, behind Pereira, behind Fred, behind Fernandez,
Behind
behind Sancho,
everyone.
behind Matic, behind McTominay, Mata, um, Lingard. I forgot about Lingard. Behind that day that Wan-Bissaka decides to become a midfielder, that day decide that Marcus Rojo decides to rejoin United. We put him ahead of you. I don't
I
understand it.
think I think at one point Luke Shaw played centre mid over him one game,
And like
which is
then
ridiculous.
Ronaldo comes along, and like you just think he was so good, and we were told about him because he wasn't particularly on my radar, and I didn't know too much about him. And then you go look at him, and then there's the why you've signed this player kind of clips on YouTube, and why he's so good. And you watch him play, and you go, okay, cool. This seems like a good signing.
Looks double decent, yeah.
Yeah, very keen to see what he can do. And then it's like you don't even get to start. You don't not even ever. You are last choice. You don't come on as a sub. You get told to warm up, and then Fred gets put on in front ahead of you. Returning from injury kind of thing. You just think, what is happening in the background? Because he's clearly upset. He's very angry with what's being treated, and I think he's being punished for his attitude. That's what it looks like to me. I honestly think that Ollie is unhappy with his attitude, and I think Ollie, being a super sub for a lot of his career, kind of wants people to just be quiet and sit on the bench and be super subs. But then he's not using them as super subs, so I don't even know if it's. I don't actually get it. Full stop. You've never seen more resignation and frustration than watching a Man United fan tweet about Donny van der Beek. It's an ongoing mystery that I'd love to have resolved sometime. Please let me know if anyone knows what's going on there.
Well, I speak to a lot of United fans on this channel, Mark, and no one can give me an answer. No one understands what's happening with this guy.
I
I
think
think there's a
he's.
good player there. I think there's someone potentially who will be a success at United. It
Do
just
you think he'll be?
seems that I just think it seems like under Oli, it's never going to happen. Maybe under another manager, it could happen. It seems like there are some players in their careers where if you are a great player and you just paired up with the wrong manager at the wrong time, that's your career. And we saw it with Mourinho and so many players. We saw it with Mourinho and Salah, KDB, Mata, Lukaku. These players we know are fantastic players, but when they're paired with the wrong manager at the wrong time, you would never know it. And that's potentially what is Donny van der Beek's issue. Great player, he's just working under the wrong manager. So, having said that, in the player, for the interest of the player, I would sell him or loan him out. But if I was a United fan and I wanted him to stay, I'd say he's a future star.
I would definitely just give the guy whatever the hell he wants, and if that means loan him out or sell him, at this point it's embarrassing. I would just give him what he wants, and I don't think he wants to be
So
there. So
sell him out.
yeah, I think sell him and cut your losses on that one, because this is quite painful to watch.
Fair enough.
And not
But yeah. Yeah. Well, there's your tier list, Mark. What do you think of it?
I think that United squad is so good that they have, apart from one player missing in defensive midfield, that they've run out of excuses now. Ollie's time to really shine, start making slightly more sense from an outside perspective in the midfield, and things are really looking up with the transfer windows. It's the best transfer window apart from Ronaldo, which is just a whirlwind. I think they were smart. I think they bought what they wanted. They did everything right. They're building up, the feel good, that aggressive attacking style of football that United, they thrive on. It's all coming together. All the pieces falling together, and now they have to deliver. And that squad
100%.